You know, the simple act of eating healthy, not just the act of, but just the doing of eating healthy and walking every single day can fix almost 80 to 90% of your problems, right? You find that hard to believe, but if you put this into perspective, a lot of us simply are battling with nutrition, good eating habits, the discipline around making food choices. And while it's very black and white, it's clear cut, and we have all the education tools that's in front of us, we continue to choose, proactively choose, to make the wrong decisions when it comes to food, right? And then we spend hours and hours in the gym getting all the fancy gadgets and equipment, thinking somehow the weight's just going to melt off. But and somehow you think you're going to outwork your bad diet. But the reality of this is that I think you've heard the saying, right? You cannot outwork a bad diet. No way. Even I can't. It's never been done, and it's just I don't care what you say. You cannot outwork a bad diet. And so, case in point is that we've all been taught in school to eat your fruits and vegetables. I think that's the one education theme principle that they did right, is try to preach that to us in every generation. Eat your fruits and vegetables and you'll be healthy, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away, hypothetically. Although there's some trickiness, there's some tricks to that, and there's some controversy around all of that, but we're not going to go there right now. We're just going to stay focused on getting right, becoming one with your nutrition, and then getting into the habit of walking every single day. Just those two things. Just those two things. See, humans, we are not designed to be stationary all throughout the day. And I think what happens here is we are trained in corporate America, right, to go to the 9 to 5. Most of us don't even see the day and the ray of sunlight. And by the time we get home, it's dark, and we don't get the time to walk outside and proactively get in any vitamin D or get any activity naturally, right? Even the walks. So what do you do about that? How can you fix that, right? This is where structure around your lifestyle, having structure and disciplines around it and adhering to that will get you closer to your goals. You will actually get to your goals. You have to make some sacrifices if you're in that corporate rat race, and I'm in it, but you have to get there somehow because we were all given the set of 24 hours. You may have a family, you may have kids, you may have your dogs, you might just be a bachelor, or single person, which is even more rhyme and reason for you to approach this thing called life in such a way where the problems you're dealing with, right, are amplified by your toxic habit with nutrition and the lack of exercise. This is what it comes down to. And a lot of times we are not able to resolve or have an epiphany or an aha moment in our lives is because we are not enabling ourselves to be in a position to make good decisions. And I firmly believe that nutrition, along with getting the daily walks here, enable you to make better choices in your life. I've talked about this many times on my channel, how walking helps me unlock some of my life's problems, some issue, a lot of my dark problems and issues and things that I battle with, including anxiety. I unlock it right here during this simple act of walking that we all take for granted. When you combine a healthy nutrition plan, right, prioritizing protein, for example, that's the big one. As human beings, we're always looking for that look, right? We want to get lean. We want to feel good in our clothes. We want to show off the slim fit suits and the slim fit t-shirts and show everyone we have finally a flat belly. We've spent some time busting that gut, which is why you haven't, if you see someone after a long time in a store, in a public setting, in a social function, and they just appear, pretty clean cut and put together, you're like, damn, bro, what have you been doing? You look great, man. Or, damn, girl, you're looking fine as hell. I like the behind, you got what I mean, like the compliment, right? That's the ultimate compliment. You cannot buy that feeling or replace that because they want to be like you. They want to be like you. I know that when I create structure around my nutrition, my workouts become easier. Why? The workouts are not any easier hypothetically. The workouts are not any easier hypothetically. It's the fact that I see my body changing with the nutrition plan that I have incorporated. The nutrition, the carnivore diet is what I follow. The carnivore diet is what I follow. So when I'm putting in the work, right, when I feed myself certain nutrients and prioritize protein, for example, which we all should be doing, I can see my body changing. I can see my body composition has changed completely, right? I can see my waistline go like this, right? And I went from a size 34. At my heaviest, I was about size 37, 38 to currently I'm size 29, 30, 31. So I fluctuate between 29 and 30 depending on the meal, right? Depending on the meal timing, and your belly is not always going to look the same, especially after you eat. So that fluctuates to give or take an inch or 2 inches, right? Which is why overeating is also such a thing. You know, nutrition and water, the two hacks, because nutrition, water intake also falls into nutrition, hydration, right? So what a lot of people don't realize is we are very dehydrated, but yet overeating, right? Dehydrated and overeating, but in fact, we should inverse. There should be an inverse relationship to that and complementary, right? So if you're hydrated and if you're always, at least frequently drinking close to a gallon of water every single day, which is about 16 cups, you're going to remain relatively full and satisfied. Not to say that you don't need to eat food, but water can curb a lot of your hunger signals when it comes to maintaining, sustaining your nutrition plan. If you prioritize protein, it keeps you fuller longer. It takes your body a longer time to digest all that protein. And it's usually around a gram per pound per body weight is what you should be intaking. I'm about 155, 160, give or take on certain days. So I'm getting in about 150 to 160 grams of protein every single day. Sometimes 140 grams, you know, sometimes even 130. And I notice the numbers get lower. It's because there could be certain days where I just raise my carbs. So the two nutrients you can manage and, you know, fluctuate between. If you're going to have carbs on the days where you have to lift absolute heavy, like you must hit some PRs, then sure, you can take your carbs up a bit and drop your protein down and keep your fats moderate. But on the days where you're moderately lifting, which is where I'm at, where I'm now lifting to maintain, you know, all of this is still pretty decent at any age, still pretty decent muscle mass. Um, I'm prioritizing protein and fats. So carnivore essentially entails a lot of protein, to moderate to a lot of protein, and focusing around fats. And carbs here or there, it doesn't really move the needle much for me. In fact, lack of cutting out carbs has given me better results. Let me put it this way. Everyone's body is different. You have to experiment, right? So back to square one is that the reason you're seeing a lot of focus, mental fortitude, and being sharp, being able to speak and just be very productive and knock out content after content is because the clarity that has come about of following a lifestyle as such. Like, this is a very rewarding lifestyle. It can be very monotonous. It can be very boring, right? You may not see the results all the time, but people will tell you, people will reinforce that. There's positive reinforcement and feedback loop to all of this. People will tell you exactly how you look, and most times it's very complimentary. So once again, a lot of your problems can be fixed through a healthy nutrition plan and walking. This boils down to the very fact that health has a lot of impact on your decisions, right? We don't have our health, we don't really have much else after that, right? And no one's going to do it for you. That's the other thing, is that no one's going to come and walk your 10,000 steps every single day. No one's going to make your heart beat, right? No one's going to make your lungs and your kidney function but you. People are definitely going to put drinks in your hand and say, one more, bro. Chug it, chug it, chug it, right? So you have to be willing to walk away from these situations. And the more you do this and improve your nutrition, your diet, the walking every single day, the more you move away from all of that. the more you start cutting out people that you no longer need. And in some cases, you don't even need people to get this far. And in some cases, you're going to have new people enter your life that improve your life and enhance what you're already doing, like-minded individuals. And a lot of times we're still stuck in the same rut, unable to move, unable to find our purpose, procrastination, confusion, that fog, right? Lack of sleep. And, I made a video about nothing good really happens after 11 o'clock. There's a hint of truth to all of that, even when I was younger and even till today. Alcohol is a big one. That always poisons the soul. That always poisons the body, the mind, the spirit. A lot of dark things happen with alcohol, man. I got a lot of stories on alcohol on this channel. You can definitely check it out. But that's my overview on decision making, problem solving, or at least finding a pathway to the finish line of something that you've been working on by improving your nutrition, as simple as that sounds, and walking every single day. Of course, drinking a gallon of water as well. There are other cheat codes to this lifestyle, folks. If you're curious to know what they are, feel free to go through my playlist. You will see videos about intermittent fasting, carnivore lifestyle, walking tips, sprinting, martial arts. There's a lot there. Even soccer clips, right? There's a lot there for you to take in. So scour through that, go through the playlist, check out what you can take and apply to your life, and let me know what was helpful to improve your life. Okay. If you're seeing me breathe, because my breathing has gone up, of course this is endurance. And I've been walking for quite a little over 30 minutes now. So and I'm smiling is because my watch says, it's about 30 minutes. So I'm feeling pretty good here, guys. Do try to knock out one more video and call it the day, call it the evening here before I lose the sunlight, okay? Stay motivated and get after it, guys. Mamba out.